Warning, this podcast contains adult language, mature situations, the horrors of math teachers, hierarchical middle school social cliques, surprisingly nice athletic club members, the lizard brain hypothesis, and an irrational fear of sunspots. Listener discretion is advised. Episode 255, Getting Through Today's Level. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, some podcasts and varying reviews about connectly enhanced narratives. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, and what's up? Yes, we are back for another fun-filled and wonderful, amazing episode of this lovely podcast, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Spiraken's a podcast that provides informative reviews about connectly enhanced narratives. Every episode I'll talk about 1 to 2 manga titles or movie titles if we're doing a movie review, and I'll tell you the pros and cons about it, how the art style is, how the characters are, and if it's worth investing your time in or not. Now, you don't have to agree with anything that I or my co-hosts say, but we try to be as educational, entertaining, and non-biased as possible, even though sometimes if it's a really awesome manga or a really terrible manga, we'll be a little bit prejudiced, but I digress. You can check out any of our earlier episodes at www.spiraken.com. You can email me at zan@spiraken.com. We're also on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, Apple Music Store, Spotify, Player.fm, and the PSN Network and Nintendo Switch Network if you want to challenge me with some awesome games. All this information and more can be found in the show notes at www.spiraken.com. And finally, if you want to send me a cool shout out or just ask me some questions, you can email me at xan, that's Zan, at spiraken.com. Now, with that in mind, let's get to what we're talking about in this episode, because if you remember from the last episode, episode 254, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga, and it dictated on to be that reviewing a manga that is not a manga. In actuality, it's just a regular graphic novel that Yen Press released in a weird way. It's their OEL, if you know the Tokyopop term. It's original English language manga or graphic novel. And this is written by one of their recent stars. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Svetlana Chamkova. She is the author of Ackward, a story of a young girl at Berrybrook Middle School and the trials and tribulations of it. I haven't reviewed it on the podcast because when I spun it, it has never come up. But it's a very engaging story and it is critically acclaimed. So this story that we're talking about, that was published in 2017 by Yen Press, and there's only one volume, is a sidequel to Ackward. It's taking place in the same universe, and a couple of the characters from that story do show up in this one, but they're not the main focus. And this is a junior fiction drama series. I would say it's shonen because the main character is a middle schooler, so he is, let's say, I think he's 12, 13. So, yeah, this would be a shonen series. And what am I talking about? I am talking about Brave. Not to be confused with Disney's Brave. But this one is about being brave. More importantly, that it is a story of Jensen. Jensen is a middle school student who loves art. He's terrified of sunspots, and he is terrible at math. I kind of can relate with 2 of the 3 things. Because I'm good at art, I hate math. The sunspot thing is a little bit weird, but hey, everyone's got some irrational fears, don't they? And Jensen is trying to just survive school. He pictures it almost that every day is a level in a platformer. And you're trying to get from point A to point B. You're trying to navigate it and avoid all of the evil monsters who would be teachers that treat you bad, or just those students that look down upon you because you're not in their social clique. Because, for those of us who don't remember, high school and middle school is controlled by a social hierarchy of cliques. If you're not in the right clique, you are looked down upon, or if you're not even in a clique, you're looked even further down upon. So you have to find those people that you're with, your friends, the people that set up with you, that treat you awesome. And to be honest, Jensen thinks he has a good clique, but they might not be the best clique possible because he's part of the art club and he really likes doing art and he has a lot of friends in there. The problem though is that a lot of times they say things to him that are not nice. They can be considered derogatory, you could say. I mean, like making fun of him for being scared of sunspots, the fact that he's a little bit chubby. And they say it jokingly, but they don't realize that it hurts him a lot. Eventually, after some circumstances happen, he ends up getting conscripted by the newspaper club. Main characters Jenny and Akala. And if you've read Ackward, you know the two I'm talking about. And they conscript him to work on a project of theirs, which has to deal with the lizard brain hypothesis. Now, what that is that we have in our minds our current mammalian brain, which is our higher functioning, not primate, but our human brain. Below that is our primate brain, which is a little bit intelligent, but we still have some social fears. And below that is the lizard brain. The lizard brain is our most base instincts. And the hypothesis is that no matter what, there are people who follow that to a T, that lizard mentality of need food, be best, pretty much the concept of bullying. And they focus on Jensen because he is dealing with bullying. And he might not even admit to himself that it's bullying, but it is bullying. Things that friends say to you, if it hurts you, that doesn't mean that they're your friend or they're saying it to be nice to you. And Jensen has to come up and move forward in life to get past this point, to, as he said, level up, to realize what's going on. And he's dealing through this in all these circumstances, and we as the audience follow him on this journey that he has. Finding friends where there weren't friends that he thought he would have, or finding nemesis where there weren't nemesis, and finding out that some people who he thought were scary are not as scary as he thought. They're just people too. The art style is very simplistic. It's not too crazy. It's very similar to how Ackward was, same author, and it works. I do like the fact that it's a very multinational cast. You have Islamic character in here, you have Hispanic character, white character, black character, all the different races in this school. It's a very nice melting pot. There's not a lot of prejudice in the school for racism. It's more along the lines of social status, which is the main focus of this story. And I gotta say, I was enthralled by it. It was just engaging and intriguing. It brought me back to that time of when I was in middle school and all of those horrible memories I had of being bullied and picked on, that we all have, that we try to block away and just put in a box in our brain. And that kind of sucked, but it was good to see that it proves a point that if we see something and we don't do anything about it, it's never going to change. But if we see something that's wrong, we say, hey, something's wrong here, and we do something, we could start fixing it so that it won't happen again. And that is the main plot of this story. That is the main message for this story, and I've got to say it's a really good message. And as a non-manga, it's really good. I would love to see more of this world in Berrybrook. I'd love to see what else that she has a very hard name to pronounce. Ms. Chamkova has to offer for us. I can't wait to read what she does next. I really do. I will have to say that the bullies in this story, one I have sympathy for, the other one I have no sympathy for. He's just a horrible individual, and, well, there's no sympathy for him whatsoever. He's just a bad person, I think. I think that's what he's designed to be. He's not designed to be a good person. He is the Henry Bauer of this story, but not to that level of where he's going to kill a bunch of people. He's just mean for being mean. And you need a good antagonist, I think. There's some other characters who are antagonistic, but they're not really antagonists. And it makes the story so much more well-developed and fleshed out. It makes it a world which exists upon itself. It's not a microcosm. It actually feels like it's a big, vast world. And you want to know more about it, especially because it is a sidequel to the original story, and I do like that. Now, with that in mind, what am I going to give the rating for this interesting and unique not manga? Well, I was thinking about it, and I was really thinking it may have been a Gift from Your Crazy Aunt Muriel, but it's not forgettable. So I'm going to have to bump it up and give this a borrow from a friend and don't return unless offered Pocky, because it's a really good story. There are some issues with it. I do feel that the art style could use a little bit of cleaning up, and if you're so far distanced from middle school, it's kind of hard to go back into that mentality. So it's not for everybody, but for the intended audience, which is middle school kids and kids who are younger and older, this is a really great purchase and a great buy. It's got a great message and it makes you feel good. And the way it works, you feel for Jensen and you really do feel good when he gets his not desserts, but he gets his justice. So, with that in mind, remember you can check out any of our earlier episodes at www.spiraken.com. You can email me personally at zan@spiraken.com. That's Xan, not Zan. I am on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Player.fm, Stitcher, and the PSN Network, and the Nintendo Switch Network. And if you want to do something really awesome for me, something I'd really appreciate, go to the iTunes Store, leave me a message, or follow me at Twitter and at Instagram on @Spiraken. Follow me. Send me some messages. If you see me at a con, tag me. I really do appreciate it. Also, before I forget, for Anime Boston, if you are going to it, I've got a couple more things I'm going to be giving away at the convention, including one thing I got from First Second Publishing that was really cool, and it is very sci-fi. It's a little erratic and a little bit fast, but I think it works really well. So with that in mind, let's get to that part you've all been waiting for. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the illustrious and strange and unusual Wheel of Manga? Well, the Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a manga title on each of the 10 spots. And I'm going to spin this Wheel of Manga. Whatever number it lands on, to review in the next episode of the Spiraken. So let's spin and see what we're going to review. Number 8. So, in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, I'm going to be reviewing, a manga about dining in a dungeon. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about Delicious in Dungeon. I heard weird things about this manga. I actually bought a copy in Japan, but I haven't read it, so I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Well, let's see what happens in it. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys are doing good. Also, on a side note, things do get better after middle school. I know middle school seems tough, but it does get a lot better. If you do need to talk to friends or anybody else. Even if you want to message me if you have some issues with school. If you have something just bothering you. Because it's better to talk to people than just let it be stuck in there and just fester away. Alright, now that PSA is out of the way, hope you guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Catch you guys next time. Later.